What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Draft Yoda, where we're data-driven and prospect-focused. I am Draft Yoda himself, Bill Workman, your favorite draft nerd's favorite draft nerd. Today we're talking about 10 teams I believe have a legitimate chance to win the national championship this season. Not make the playoff, not contend for a conference championship, actually win the whole thing. For each team, we're going to cover why they can win the national championship, the biggest hurdle in their way, the superstar who can make it happen, their biggest trap game on the schedule, and the player nobody's talking about right now that could be a household name by the season's end. So let's get into it. Number 10, we got the defending national champions, the Indiana Hoosiers. And let's be real, nobody wants to play Indiana anymore. Curt Cignetti has built one of the toughest, most disciplined programs in America. And the defending Big Ten champions and defending national champions are loaded again. The offensive line is elite. The defense is experienced. The quarterback position, they got a great transfer in with Josh Hoover. This program expects to win. And the addition of Nick Marsh and a few other weapons is really big. I think it's really going to be a big season for them. Their biggest hurdle is handling expectations. Last year, Indiana was a sleeper team. They were the hunter. Now they're the hunted. Every team on their schedule is going to circle them. And can they handle getting everyone's best game? That's the question going into the season. I think that is going to be the one they have to prove and the one they have to answer. The superstar is Nick Marsh, former Michigan State wide receiver. He's finally getting an elite supporting cast around him. And if Indiana wants to win another national championship, Marsh likely becomes one of the most productive receivers in college football. Their trap game is Illinois this year. Illinois' physical team, experienced team. They've got some talent on their roster. They've got some dangerous weapons, offensively and defensively. And that game falls exactly in the point of the season where it could jump up and bite you. It's the exact type of game that can derail a playoff run. The future household name, Carter Smith. He's my current offensive tackle 3. It's truly one of the safest offensive lineman prospects in the entire country. And by season's end, everyone will know his name. He is a beast, and you will know him. Number 9, the Utah Utes. Why I think they can win it all, Utah is built for playoff football. They have an elite defense. They have a physical offensive line, strong running game. There's a lot of veterans on this team. And every year, Utah just seems to get better and stronger as the season progresses. It's almost as if the weather turns colder and the games become more physical, and Utah just thrives in that environment. Their biggest hurdle is their offense. Can it be explosive? Can it score with these elite teams on this list? If they can, then watch out. If not, you may just be a Big 12 champ, and congrats on that. Superstar, Isaac Wilson. If Wilson takes the next step, Utah becomes a legitimate title contender. The trap game is Arizona State. It's a rivalry, and those rivalry games are always going to be weird games. That combined with Arizona State having enough talent to really be the thorn in the side and ruin a championship season for the Utah Utes. Household name you're gonna need to know. Lander Barton. Lander Barton is one of the best linebackers in America and a future NFL player. You're going to know his name. You'll fear his name if you're an offensive player. Next up, number 8, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. They have one of the best defenses in college football. The offensive line is loaded in talent. Secondary is loaded. The roster is loaded. And Marcus Freeman has built one of the most complete programs in America. Biggest question is the quarterback play. Can C.J. Carr take a next step forward? If he can, and the offense can be consistently score against, if they can consistently score against championship caliber defenses, then the answer is yes. Notre Dame can win it all. We'll really be able to see how they play against Miami later in the season, but that's not their draft game. The superstar you need to know, Leonard Moore. He's the best cornerback in college football. He's a true shutdown defender, capable of eliminating, a third of the field pretty much by himself. That's a dude. That is what it is. He is a superstar, and you will know his name. Pittsburgh is the trap game for them. Pitt is always one of those teams that just seems to play ugly games, and Notre Dame likes to find themselves in ugly games. And this just feels like the game when you look at their schedule where they could get caught by a team they're not expecting. And if Notre Dame loses more than one, I think they lose to Miami. But if they lose more than just the Miami game, they could be on the outside looking in for the playoffs. Future household name, Elijah Burris, son of former NFL star Plexico Burris. I think he has all the tools to become Notre Dame's next breakout wide receiver. And if C.J. Carr is supposed to take the next step forward, I think Elijah Burris is a big part of making that happen. Number 7, next up on the list, is the Oregon Ducks. Oregon is one of the most complete rosters in the country. The defense is loaded. Defensive line is elite. The coaching staff is amazing. You've got one of the best quarterbacks in the country coming back. Dan Lanning has turned Oregon into a national powerhouse. The question is, can Dante Moore fix some of his mistakes that he has to become more consistent as a quarterback? Because that defense is a championship caliber. The offense has to match it, and that starts and ends with the quarterback, Dante Moore, who is the superstar. He's a 9.4 on my board, one of the best quarterbacks in college football. If he reaches his ceiling, Oregon becomes terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. The question is, can he reach his ceiling? Trap game, Iowa. Let's be real, Iowa. Iowa's going to be a trap game for a lot of teams because they play physical football. They have an elite defense, and it's the exact team that Oregon hates playing. They are going to hit you in the mouth and hit you in the mouth and hit you in the mouth and keep hitting you in the mouth, and hopefully you're strong enough to stay standing. Future household name, I took a little cheat with this one because I love the kid. Amari Washington. He's the Oregon defensive tackle. I think he's one of the most underrated players in America. I've got him very high on my board, first round talent. I love him. I love the tape. I want everybody else to love him, so that's why he's the future household name. Number 6, speaking of another Big Ten school, Ohio State. When we talk about Ohio State, the first 3 things we're going to talk about is talent. Talent and talent. Nobody recruits like Ohio State. Nobody develops wide receivers like Ohio State, even though the coach now left. It's year after year, they've reloaded. It's just they have a wide receiver room that dwarfs NFL team wide receiver rooms. They're just that good. The Buckeyes have the playoff experience, the championship expectations, and NFL talent across the board. Question is, can you replace the veterans you lost? Because every year, Ohio State's losing people to the NFL. Can the next generation take the step forward and be ready immediately? Their superstar shouldn't come in shouldn't come to surprise for anybody. Jeremiah Smith is the best player in college football. Period. End of sentence. If Ohio State wins the national championship, there's a very real chance Jeremiah Smith is standing in New York as a Heisman finalist and is finishing the season as one of the most dominant wide receivers we've ever seen in the sport. Trap game is Penn State. Penn State just always seems to swing for the fences with Ohio State, and one of these times they're going to hit. It could be a big shift in the Big Ten championship race and put Ohio State from being a front runner to a chaser in that race. And that's a big shift of a game. So that's why Penn State is my trap game. Future household name, Chris Henry Jr., 5-star freshman, arriving on campus. He's a wide receiver, 6'5", elite athleticism, elite ball skills, and oh, by the way, Chris Henry's his dad. He's a future superstar in the league. He's another reason that the wide receiver room just keeps reloading. There's just a ton of talent in the wide receiver room at Ohio State. Number 5, Oklahoma Sooners. Why they can win? They've got a quarterback in Mateer. They have a monster of a defensive line. They've got great coaching, great defensive coaching. He's been there before. It's a dangerous formula. The Sooners have one of the most balanced rosters, and they have enough star power to really, push and compete with people. Their biggest hurdle is going to be the SEC schedule. Week in and week out, it is a battle. It is a dogfight. There's no real easy games on that schedule. Their superstar is David Stone, highest rated defensive tackle, one of the most disruptive players in college football. I hate making comparisons for people just because they get pegged into, oh, he said he was going to be the next Aaron Donald, and then now he's trying to make that. But watching him, he is as disruptive as Aaron Donald was when he was playing. Not saying he's going to be Aaron Donald, just saying he is as disruptive as Aaron Donald was when he was playing. Trap game is Missouri. It's a physical football team capable of ruining championships runs. They've got a great running back in Missouri. I don't think they'll be able to run up the middle on Oklahoma, simply because of the two monsters they have in the middle. But if he can get the edge, the game becomes a little scary, a little dangerous. It's also about the placement in the schedule. Missouri kind of is one of those sneaky games for them. Future household name, if they win it all, is going to be John Mateer. He's got talent. If they are competing for a national championship, he's going to be in the Heisman conversation. He has a wide range of outcomes. So he could be, your next favorite quarterback, or he could be, unfortunately, another season hurt, and we start asking and wondering what if with him. Number 4, LSU. Elite talent, elite coaching, great quarterback play, NFL players across the field. LSU has everything necessary to win a championship. The biggest hurdle is going to be consistency. They've got a new system coming in, new coaches. Can they beat anybody? Yes. Can they avoid beating themselves is the question. Their superstar, Sam Leavitt, one of the best quarterbacks in college football, transferred from Arizona State to LSU. He's a dangerous guy with the football in his hand. He's got a lot of talent that he's going to be throwing to at LSU. And he could be the difference maker for LSU. The trap game is South Carolina. South Carolina is one of those teams that is going to be scary to play this season, because you just don't know who you're going to get from South Carolina. You could have, Lenore Sellers, and he looks like the hybrid of Cam Newton and Michael Vick, or you could have Lenore Sellers that kind of disappears on the field. You don't really know what you're getting from South Carolina every time you play them, and that's a dangerous team to play. Um, Future household name, 5-star tackle, recruit, played for Colorado the past few years, just transferred to LSU. Jordan Seaton, he was a former #1 tackle recruit in America, and he's become one of the biggest risers in college football. He's an amazing pass rush guy. Um, his pass blocking is amazing. He needs to improve his run game. If he can improve his run game and how he blocks in the run game, Jordan Seaton's going to be a name that everybody knows. Number 3, Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia recruits at a championship level every single season. I mean, let's be real. You've got that many blue chips on your roster. You got that many previous 5 stars. The roster is just loaded. The coaching staff is amazing. I give Kirby a lot of credit because he's one of the guys that's done it. If you're a coach who's won a national championship, I tend to give you a lot of credit. Their biggest hurdle is quarterback development. Who's going to be the quarterback, and how have they developed? Because for them to win the SEC and come out, it's going to take an elite quarterback play to do so. The superstar is KJ Bolden, one of the best defensive players, future first-round pick. He's a safety. He is one of those safeties that kind of is everywhere at once, and he's a name that everybody knows going in. The trap game is Kentucky. I feel like where Kentucky lands in their schedule, it's one of those where you just come off a couple very big games and you got a couple more big games ahead of you, and you happen to overlook Kentucky. And in the SEC, you can't. I mean, SEC Big Ten, you can't overlook anybody. So Kentucky is the trap game for them. Future household name. I don't know if he's already a household name. He is in my house, at least, because as a Tennessee fan, I have cussed him at least once or twice. Nate Frazier. He's a star running back for the Dogs. He's explosive, and I think he's going to get a little bit more run this season and really pop on the national scene because of it. Number 2, it's the Miami Hurricanes. I think everything has aligned for them: quarterback, defense, speed, depth. Miami is assembling they're assembling the Infinity Gauntlet with what they've been putting together down there, and the amount of talent they have is ridiculous. The question is, how will they handle the expectations? They haven't dealt with this kind of pressure in years. Can they handle still being the favorite? The guy who is going to be the superstar is Darian Mensah. I think he is truly one of the Heisman Trophy candidates going into the season. He is one of the better quarterbacks. He's the best transfer quarterback in America. What he was able to do with Duke with limited talent around him, I think now at Miami with the amount of talent that's going to be there, it's going to, if he continues to play the way he played, it's going to be eye-opening to a lot of people, and you're going to know his name very quick. The trap game is Louisville. Louisville's got a lot of talent. They've got some explosive players on that team. They've got offensively and defensively. And if you're not paying attention, they will sneak up on you and they will take it to the house. Future household name, though, is Amon Moten. He's a very disruptive defensive tackle. And in the ACC, where the offensive lines aren't the greatest compared to the SEC or the Big Ten, I think you're going to know his name fairly quick and for the good part of the season. My number 1 team is the Texas Longhorns. They've got the most hype. They've got the most expectation of any team in college football this year. Texas has the best roster. To me, the best roster in college football. Between Arch Manning, Colin Simmons, Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, Trevor Greasby, I can keep going. The NFL talent is everywhere on this. And there's no glaring holes on the team whatsoever. The question is, how do they handle the pressure? You know, anything short of a national championship will feel disappointing for this team and for this roster. So every opponent is going to treat it like it's the Super Bowl when they play them. Superstar, I mean, we all knew who it is. It's Arch Manning. He's the face of college football. He's going to be a Heisman favorite. Um, he is the player that will make the biggest impact on the championship race, point blank, period. The trap game, I feel like there's really one trap game. I really wanted to make this the Red River rivalry. Um, but I went with a different rival because I feel like they're going to get hyped up for Oklahoma. Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a rivalry game, and it's dangerous. There's rivalry games. The records don't matter. Talent doesn't matter. It is just chaos. And it's one of those where it is the bragging rights for the state, almost. And I can see Texas A&M putting everything on the line for this game. Future household name, guy you're going to know, Trevor Gooseby. He is the highest rated offensive tackle in college football. He is just a monster at left tackle. And by the end of the season, you're going to know his name. It's as simple as that. But now I want to hear from you. You know, who am I too high on? Who am I too low on? Who's cutting into this list and, supplanting some of these teams? Who is raising the trophy at the end of the season? Drop your national championship predictions down below. We'll revisit this. But if you liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep putting in work. I am Draft Yoda, Bill Workman. I'm your favorite draft nerd's favorite draft nerd. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.